Subtitles: You'll never guess what happens next. Teased by Dad, Damie's mood plummets and she leaves, while her psychologist dad tends to a new client. Just as Dad wrapped up with a patient, a strange guy bursts in through the door. Dad warmly invites him to take a seat, but this weirdo is fixated on the open cupboard, even asking to close it when he finally sits down. Eventually, Dad gives in and personally shuts the cupboard, but the guy is still acting all jittery. Dae-jeong reassures him that whatever they discuss with the therapist stays between them. As the conversation progresses, the man starts to ease up, mentioning that his 2 daughters passed away in some pretty tragic ways. Drained of life by a demon, he stresses Dae-jeong lost family too, so he understands the pain. He mentions that before his daughters died, one left behind a drawing, which he hands to Dae-jeong, claiming the thing in the drawing is responsible for their deaths. After hearing this, Dae-jeong is more convinced that the guy has some mental issues, so he excuses himself to go to the restroom. Once in the kitchen, he calls the police, suspecting this guy might really be mentally disturbed. He's even wondering if this guy killed his own daughters, and meanwhile, the man sneaks up the stairs. Meanwhile, Damie is oblivious, busy sorting clothes by the washing machine, while the man at the end of the hallway is spying on her. Hearing a noise in the hallway, she thinks Dad is back, calling out for him as she approaches cautiously, only to step on something underfoot. She looks down and sees a puddle of red liquid, scaring her enough to stagger back, gasping for breath and unable to get up. Only when blue liquid starts oozing from under the door does her racing heart calm down. Turns out it was just spilled paint. Damie cautiously opens the door, only to find complete chaos inside. The paintings are wrecked, even the family photo is torn to shreds. Her heart aches. It was the only family photo they had. Just then, a weird noise comes from the storage room, snapping her out of her sorrow. Armed with a carving knife, she tiptoes towards the sound, her heart racing faster as the noise grows clearer. Finally, she steels herself and rushes into the storage room, but it's pitch black. Just then, Dad arrives right on time and flicks on the lights. As they both look toward the door, something bizarre happens. The man is found hanging from the door, leaving Damie screaming in shock as the cops rush in to take his body away. Officers start questioning Dae-jeong about the man's odd behavior before he died, and Damie, watching from afar, seems to know something. Just then, Saeoma comes home from school. Saeoma sees the house full of cops and is confused about what's happening. Damie quickly calls her over, suggesting the man might have killed his own daughters. Dae-jeong guesses he could have taken his own life under pressure, but then Damie interrupts, saying she heard strange fighting noises. Cops conclude that Damie is just shaken up and try to comfort her, saying the man must have struggled before he died. That's totally normal. Damie feels a bit more reassured after hearing this, but with the man dying at home, it plays even worse on Saeoma's phobia. She even asks Dad to check under her bed and in the gloomy storage room, while Damie, witnessing everything, also struggles to sleep. As she lies in bed scrolling through her phone, she notices a dark mark on the ceiling. After Dad helps Saeoma fall asleep, he accidentally bumps into the washing machine, feeling a mix of emotions as he looks at his wife's clothes. In the dead of night, strange things start happening as bizarre noises echo from the storage room. Mysterious force pushes the door open, and Saeoma, completely taken aback, sees a shadow slip onto her bed, and the atmosphere turns chilling. She tries to figure out if she's imagining things, shining a glow ball under the bed, but it reveals nothing but darkness. As she pushes the glow ball deeper into the darkness, a terrifying face suddenly appears. Terrified, she slips and falls off the bed, and the scene shifts to Damie, who can't sleep. Missing her mother, Damie decides to look up how to communicate with spirits online, lighting a candle and picturing her mother's face. Just then, the flame flickers unexpectedly at Saeoma, interrupting, standing at the door saying she's scared. Damie thinks Saeoma had a nightmare and urges her to go back to sleep, only to see blood trickling from her sister's mouth, leaving her frozen in shock. She notices Saeoma has a loose tooth, which could explain her insomnia, so she decides to use an old trick to pull it out. Tying one end of a string to the tooth and the other to the door handle, Damie says she'll count to 3 before pulling the door, but then the unexpected happens. Before she can finish, the tooth gets yanked out. Saeoma feels betrayed by her sister and breaks down crying. Damie rushes to comfort her sister, confused about what just happened, trying to calm her down as best as she can. Soon, they snuggle up and drift off to sleep, but then even stranger things start happening. The tooth is yanked up to the door frame and then pulled into the storage room, all while Damie is completely unaware. Thinking the man's death is super weird, she goes online to search for info and finds he used to have a happy family on social media. The next morning, Damie goes with a friend to the man's house, discovering it looks completely abandoned. Her friend watches nervously from afar, but Damie knocks bravely, getting no response. Without options, she goes around to the back and finds the door isn't locked, calling out for the owner as she enters the house, greeted by utter chaos inside. It looks completely uninhabited, and soon a short-circuited spotlight catches her eye. She tries to tighten the power cord, and suddenly the room is lit up, revealing an area covered with black vines and markings. This only fuels her curiosity more, and she heads upstairs where the floor is littered with candles and vines cover the ceiling. Damie continues exploring down the hallway, eventually spotting a half-open door.